Now, speaking of people that are on their way out, let's call it, I'm questioning whether this gentleman is on his way out. Machine Gun Kelly. So, a few weeks ago, I was at Riot Fest, and it was really great. A couple of weeks ago, I guess now. It was a fantastic show. And one of the bigger overlaps of the evening, sorry about that, was the Slipknot Machine Gun Kelly overlap. So there was an overlap. It's about a 15-minute overlap. So 15 minutes after MGK started, they started. And again, number one, his music, his pop punk music, I know that it was co-signed by Travis Barker. I know that he has endeared himself among, the punk rock elite, and somehow ended up, getting the cosign from icons. And here's the thing, I'm okay with that. That's fine. But they're going to need to answer to, hey man, this guy is talking shit about one of current heavy music's icons. Like, if you fart tomorrow and you put it up and you put hashtag Corey Taylor, you will get 1 million hits, because Corey Taylor is a media magnet machine, which is maybe why Mr. Kelly. What is it with these Kellys? Machine Gun Kelly, R.Kelly. We just should stay away from Kellys for the next. Let's just stay away from Kellys for a bit. So anyway, I'm at Riot Fest, and I was told after, because I was actually part of the crowd that was leaving. I was told that Machine Gun Kelly, as he saw a crowd of concert goers leave his show to attend Slipknot's headlining show on Saturday night, he said to them, you know what, I'm glad I'm not 50 years old wearing a mask on stage. This coming from the guy with the pink guitar, singing like he's a 22-year-old, when in fact he's a 30-year-old father. Like, look, man, I get sticking to, I get the pop punk thing. It's great. It was fun in the 90s, and NoFX is still, well, they're not pop punk, but they're street punk. Either way, melodic punk. A lot of the melodic punk. MGK is not pop punk. I mean, I guess I hate to sound like a gatekeeper, but he was very successful with his beef with Eminem. He got a lot of attention. In fact, that might have been one of the first times I heard from him. But I don't think for 1 second that. Okay, so he says that. MGK says that first. And then he goes on Twitter or something and posts the fact that he had that there was a part that Corey Taylor from Slipknot was going to be doing a singing part in Tickets to My Downfall, which is the name of his album, which I think is hilarious. He said basically that he fired Corey Taylor, and Corey Taylor responded with, "Listen, I'm a man. I'm paraphrasing. I'm a man. I don't do any of this back and forth, any of this child, whatever. But the reality was that I declined the position, or I declined the part in Tickets to My Downfall. And without further ado, the receipts." And of course, it was a back and forth between him and Travis Barker, who produced the album, talking about the part and, them going back and forth about lyrics. And you could tell that Corey was just like, I don't need this shit, man. He doesn't need this. Corey Taylor is the biggest name in heavy music right now, arguably. He doesn't need a feature. He doesn't need a feature from MGK. Like, and the thought that that Machine Gun Kelly was going to say some shit like that, and that Corey Taylor wasn't going to clap back, and then on top of that, the same week, he gets into a beef with Conor McGregor. You know, the crazy ass Irish UFC fighter. Yeah, he got into a beef with Conor McGregor, and then he tried to punch a fan at one of the festivals that he was at because he was getting booed everywhere. The guy is, you know what? Maybe this is a meta thing. When I purchased my ticket for Riot Fest, maybe I didn't know that I was buying an actual ticket to his downfall. I had to say it. But it's the truth. Like, think about that. And it was just, oh God, and his music is just so, it's just, I don't know. I would have stuck to hip hop if I was him, and I would have definitely stayed away from Eminem because Eminem roasted him. That wasn't even fair. It wasn't even fair. But then he's got this with the Slipknot. You don't want to fuck with Slipknot fans, man. Look, I love the aesthetic and like all of the theatrics of Slipknot. I'm not a huge fan of their music. I think some of their music is really good, but it's just not my type of music, my style of music. I'm not into it. But I would never fuck with their fans. There's a ton of angry bro dudes that drink way too much Monster Energy. Couple of them probably are cops or cop adjacent. And they're just angry people. And this is coming from a hardcore kid. So I'm just saying it's not a group of people that you want at your shows booing you and then probably throwing stuff at you. So Kelly, Mr. Gun, Mr. Machine Gun, Colby, what the fuck is his real name? I think it's like Colby or Colton or Colson. Colson is his real name. Colson something or another. Listen, Colson something or another, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Machine Gun. I would just stay away from all of these people. Everybody that you've had beef with could kick your ass. Think about that. Corey Taylor could whoop your ass. Eminem's old ass could whoop your ass because he could whoop my ass probably. Or he's got people. He doesn't even need to do it. Like, that's the thing. Mr. Kelly, Mr. Machine Gun, Mr. Machine. Anyway. So,